Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name's Adam. Welcome to this pre-sales workshop. In this workshop, I will talk about the pre-sales charter. What is it? How is it used? Why you should have one? And if you don't have one, how do we create one? I'll also share a tool at the end of this workshop. So let's go ahead and dive in. So how is a pre-sales charter used? Well, a charter's primary use case is to describe the mission and the objectives of the pre-sales organization. And that's a pretty valuable tool to have. But a charter can also be used to illustrate, depending on what you have in your charter, things like examples of some pre-sales outputs, the examples of things that pre-sales delivers, maybe an org chart to show structure or responsibilities, roles within the pre-sales organization. It can also be useful as a tool to help show and illustrate where pre-sales and other departments overlap for things like cross-functional collaboration, but also to ensure that you're not duplicating efforts across your team. So why should you have a charter? Well, in my experience, a charter can be one of the most useful tools to help me understand if I or we as an organization are doing the right things. That's the number one reason, period. I can't think of a better litmus test to provide clarity, to provide direction, either as an individual contributor or as a pre-sales leader, than a charter. If you're struggling with strategic direction or bogged down with tactical busy work, or maybe you're not quite sure what the rules of engagement are, the charter is really something there that can be a very clarifying tool and a clarifying exercise for your organization to ensure that you're doing the right things. Okay, Adam, so how do I actually build a charter? Well, this is where the rubber meets the road, and I want to break this down into some digestible chunks for you. Think of charters in increasing degrees of complexity. So a beginning charter, maybe a level 1 charter, is just a few simple sentences to describe your objectives and deliverables as a team. This is the best place to start and covers actually, I think, the vast majority of all charters out there. Simple is often better, and this is no exception. So if you've not done any charter work before, I'd recommend starting here. And this is actually where the charter development tool that we'll walk through in just a minute on our whiteboard will help you identify and really develop this type of charter. Now, other examples might be a level 2 charter where you're adding practice areas and business outcomes per practice area, or maybe even a level 3 type charter where it's much more complex and you have maybe an org chart with roles and responsibilities. Maybe you even have specific KPIs and measurables on a per role basis. This is for very complex organizations, or if you want to get that complex, jump right in. Now, it's beyond the scope of what we'll talk about today in this workshop, but I will come back to it in a later workshop because there's a lot of good stuff to dig into there. For now, let's dive into the whiteboard and I'll walk you through the charter creation tool. Welcome to the whiteboard. Let's walk through how to use the charter tool. This tool is really meant to help you describe all of the activities that the pre-sales team delivers on any given day, at any given moment. Now, in my experience, there's generally been a set of activities that ranges on a spectrum of, you're doing a lot of these activities and you're doing a few or a lower amount of certain activities. And I think if I were to break these down into percentages, there might be a certain set of activities that line up with as an overall percentage of my time on any given week or any given day. Maybe a 70, 20, 10 split. It might be different for your organization, but this is usually what I've seen. Now, here's an example of some of the activities in my career. Usually things like RFPs, very small amount of time because we're not trying to complete an RFP every single day. Might be different for your org though. Maybe enablement, either new product enablement or seller enablement to partner with our sales teams. But for the purposes of developing an introductory charter, a level 1 charter, I want to focus on the 70% of these activities here because these are the activities that it's probably they're really well understood in your organization. Now, when I developed my first charter years ago, here's what I had: demos, discovery, and prep. Now, these are the 3 key concepts and the 3 key sets of deliverables that I wrapped up into my first charter. For a level 1 charter, this is the best place to start. And if I wanted to take these and turn them into, just off the top of my head, do a little bit of real-time chartering, I might just write a simple charter that says, pre-sales works with sales and customers to diagnose their challenges and then builds and presents customized product demonstrations showing how our company can help solve their problems, something of that nature. That's a little rough, but hopefully you get the picture. Now, in that process, it's a very simple language, but it covers here's our objectives, here's what we're doing, and here's what we're producing, and here's the value that we're driving. And we're covering each of these 3 items here in that statement. And that's really the purpose of this tool, to help you describe the different activities that the pre-sales team is engaging with. So you'll find a copy of this blank template and fill it out. It'll look different for your organization. It should look different for your organization, but you'll find a link to a copy of this in the comments below. Fill it out and see what you come up with and how you can use this tool to develop your first charter. Well, that's it for this pre-sales workshop. Today, we talked about a pre-sales charter, what it is, how it's used, why you should have one, and also offered you a tool on how to create one. You can find a copy of that template below in the comments. If you like this content, like, subscribe, leave a comment. You can, ask to connect on LinkedIn, hit me up via DM. Would love any feedback that you have. That's all the time I have for today. Thanks for spending some time in this pre-sales workshop, and we'll catch up next time.